the Super Bowl. Yeah, Eagles, congratulations and all that. But that's Philadelphia, and we're Pittsburgh, so see. Our visit this morning with Dave Shoffner, presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So, Dave, who really won the Super Bowl?
Well, I think that's the big question, right? What's more entertaining, or who had a better game, the players on the field or the commercials? You got to say the Eagles probably had a good game. I'm a Steelers fan myself too, so I wasn't really paying too close attention to the game, but the ads just felt a little safe for me. I mean, it was a good group of ads. I don't know that it was entirely very memorable, though.
Uh-huh. Well, people are talking about the ones that stood out among, people who are pros in the industry, and we'll talk about that with you in a second. But people can still vote on their favorite Super Bowls or commercials at Spotbowl right now, right?
That's true. Yep, spotbowl.com. The polls are open until noon Eastern today. And we encourage folks to, you can watch all the ads, of course, and then vote for your favorites. We encourage people to refresh the page and vote as often as you'd like.
Oh, yeah, you can vote multiple times, and they're all listed there. You can actually watch the commercials. Well, let's talk about some of the standouts, because there are people who are, some were creeped out by the cowboy head for Tubi. That was really weird. And so was Seal's commercial. That was just
yes.
One of our guests who was in this morning in the studio said that was just darn creepy.
Yeah, creepy, I would say, was an interesting theme last night. We saw, the cowboy head. We saw a lot of flying facial hair.
Yeah,
mustaches flying off of people, and it was an interesting night for just kind of weird oddities of the body.
Yeah, but there were some that just absolutely jumped off at you. The Dunk Kings return spot. I couldn't understand what they were saying, not because of the Boston accent, because I just don't think they've really presented it well, and it was just a big confused mess.
Yeah, I was super disappointed with that one. That one, of course, led off the game, and it was our winner last year. It was the Spot Bowl champion last year, Dunk Kings. So I had high hopes for a repeat, but you're right, it was kind of scattered. I don't know where it was going or what it was trying to do. You got a guy coming out of a barrel of beans or something, and Belichick's in there, and yeah, it just was not a good follow-up effort from them.
Some of the ones that I enjoyed most of all, of course, Meg and Billy, we love that from When Harry Met Sally. That was so well done. For me, Martha Stewart dancing, which was very early. I thought that was great for Skechers. And then the Michelob Ultra with Willem Dafoe and Catherine O'Hara playing pickleball. I thought that was great.
I like the Michelob Ultra spot. Yeah, I mean, the Anheuser-Busch lineup in general is something that I pay close attention to. They have a Bud Light spot that brings the humor. They've got a Budweiser spot with the Clydesdales. Michelob Ultra is kind of a wild card. And then they usually have like a Stella Artois or something else in there. But yeah, I think the Michelob spot for them was their best effort of the night.
Talk about that from a pro standpoint, because you, of course, and your guys, you're an ad agency. You know how big this is for these companies. Budweiser really, really goes for it big time. Why? What makes them go for it as hard as they do?
Well, I mean, for many years, close to 30 years, Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch was the exclusive beer sponsor of the game. No other beer brands could advertise in the game. Now, that contract expired a few years ago, which is why we're seeing like Coors Light and other brands in the game now, Busch recently. So as the exclusive beer sponsor, they really kind of stepped up their effort, and they would buy 2.5, 3, sometimes 4 minutes of airtime. It was a good strategy for them. I mean, beer is obviously something that a lot of people are enjoying at the moment. It fits the atmosphere at home with people watching the game, so it was a perfect opportunity for them to kind of make a big impression in front of a lot of people.
When we talked with you last week, we highlighted the fact that some go for comedy, some go for big stars and celebrities doing comedy. Some are quite serious ones, and I thought two that were most effective last night was the Knockout Cancer one with the young kid who is an actual cancer survivor. I thought that was so well done. Wasn't that great?
It was, and you're right. I think in a sea of humor, it was the ones that didn't try to make us laugh that really stood out. And if you look at our top three right now, none of two of the top, all three are very serious spots, sentimental spots, if you will. And only one of them, the Jeep spot with Harrison Ford, has a celebrity. So celebrities and humor not reflected in our top three right now.
Yeah. Well, take me through the top five.
Well, I can give you three. I've been watching these top three pretty closely. They're kind of got a pretty good lead over the rest of the lineup, and they've been going back and forth. The top spot, the second spot, and third spot are all kind of flip flopping with these three. But right before I joined you, our top spot was Rocket Mortgage. Take Me Home, and that probably changed since we started talking. That's how much these things are changing. Rocket Mortgage, Take Me Home. That's everybody's singing "Take Me Home, Country Road." And
that was really great. The way that they
singing it.
Yeah, when they came back from the commercial and they had the entire stadium singing "Take Me Home, Country Roads."
Super cool. I mean, that was planned, of course, but that was a super cool thing. And I guess America loves a good sing along because that was near the top of our rankings. Lay's had a spot called Little Farmer with the little girl growing a potato for her family farm. Mm-hmm. I love that spot because, Lay's as a snack brand, they could have done something with a celebrity and some humor like most snack brands do, but they didn't. And then, I think that really helped them stand out. Yeah. And then the last spot in our top three was the Jeep spot that I mentioned, the really long one with Harrison Ford talking about how life, needs an owner's manual, and it kind of makes you think a little bit. So I think that was an interesting spot as well.
Yeah, when companies decide they're going to do that, they're going to take that chance and put out a serious spot. They really are. They're making an effort to stand out in a sea of silliness, but at the same time, they're taking a risk, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I think there's a reason why more than half of the ads use humor, right? Because everybody loves to laugh, and that's we were watching the game to be entertained. Just to smile and laugh and have a good time, and humor, of course, delivers that. So that's a pretty safe emotion to evoke in people if you want to make a connection with people. But you're right. I think when everybody else is trying to be funny and you come over here and you have a serious ad, you can kind of make the room quiet a little bit and pay attention.
Yeah, I thought the interesting one for me last night, or an interesting one, was the Adam Devine, the Circle beverage spot where he may have sent you a bottle or a case of them to you, and it actually encouraged people to go check their front door because there might be some Circle out there for them.
Yeah, that was kind of a neat. You're right. That was kind of neat, sort of way of connecting with people and making them take some sort of an action. And I think that was one of the sort of understated winners of the night. I like that one too.
Yeah, the Instacart spot I thought was very well done.
With the brand mascots.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was something that I liked a whole lot. And it's just, the different approaches that they take. And the fact that even right now people can go online and they can vote on them. It just extends the fun, huh?
It does, and I think that's why we created Spot Poll here at Pavone Group, because we know that 50% of the people polls show 50% of the people are watching just for the commercials. So we wanted to give them a voice.
Yeah, absolutely. So around the office today, when everybody got in, or maybe even last night when you guys had your text pool, I'm sure you had one going last night with the Pavone Group. What were people saying? What ones really made a splash with you guys? Because you're the pros.
Sure. Well, it was the serious ads, and I think it was nice to see the Clydesdales in there for Budweiser, though personally, I mean, if you ask me, that formula that they use for those feels pretty repetitive. I mean, it feels like the same sort of spot every year, just with a little bit of a tweak. So I'm kind of over the Clydesdale thing. I think they really got to do something different if they want to keep that alive. But, the overall impressions were that the ads were okay. I'd give them a B+. Nothing too memorable, nothing too shocking. Nothing that's going to kind of have us talking, weeks or even months from now.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing to me about the Clydesdales is there was an effort maybe 10, 15 years ago, I don't know how long ago it was, where they had the Clydesdales actually kicking field goals and doing things like that. So it wasn't all sentimental, which is what they go for every year now. But yeah. I think when people come to expect the Clydesdales, it wouldn't be the Super Bowl without the Clydesdale. It becomes a challenge. Companies know that they have, like Budweiser, they know they have to get the Clydesdales in there somehow, but how do they do it and keep people interested and excited about it?
That's true. And I recall 4, maybe 5 years ago, Budweiser just made a lot of people upset when they announced that the Clydesdales would not be making an appearance. And there was no Clydesdales in the Super Bowl. It didn't feel like a Super Bowl without them, like you said. And so Budweiser, of course, changed course next year and brought them back.
Yeah, there were too many flying eyebrows and flying mustaches last night.
Yeah, flying body parts. Yeah, just it was very weird stuff. There was mustaches flying in the Pringles spot, and then of course Eugene Levy's eyebrows flying off of him when he has the Pizza Hut or the Little Caesars. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Little Caesars. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, and there were, of course, some body parts going in the Meta Glasses one too, with
Yes.
with Hemsworth and Pratt. So
Yes.
people were having great fun with them last night, and there was you mentioned Stella Artois, so people were expecting that Damon would be in the spot with Affleck, but he was there for Stella Artois with the other David Beckham.
That one I liked. That was a fun little story that they told with Matt Damon, was David Beckham's long-lost twin brother. Yeah, it was interesting. One of the things, of all the celebrities that we saw last night, it was interesting to see how many familiar faces. So it's like Ben Affleck, Ben Affleck's in a lot of the Super Bowls in recent years. Matt Damon, Post Malone, all of these people are sort of returning from year after year.
Yeah, McConaughey's there every year.
Oh, he was in, and Tom Brady. Let me tell you, I counted three spots that featured or starred Tom Brady in a leading role. That guy, and then he was, of course, commentating the game. So That guy was all over the Super Bowl last night.
Well, what did you think of the commercial with he and Snoop Dogg going back and forth? The hate commercial that was paid for by Robert Kraft.
I liked it. That Robert Kraft has been the foundation to combat anti-Semitism. He's been buying spots in the Super Bowl for the last few years, and I think messages like that need to be, this is a perfect stage for that. We got 100 million plus Americans watching, and like we talked about, you don't have to be funny. Sometimes a serious spot like that can stand out. So those types of spots are bold and brave, but I think they have a place in the Super Bowl.
So you see the Super Bowl commercials every year. Of course, Dave is with the Pavone Group, and you're the pros at advertising. You help companies decide what their advertising strategy is going to be. I don't know that last night changed the way that you're going to approach, but certainly every bit of information as to what people are buying into is very helpful from your standpoint, yes?
It is true, yeah, and that's kind of our goal with Spot Bowl too, is to see what connects with consumers. And this year we even built this a predictive analytics tool. We have some data scientists here at Pavone Group, and they built a tool that analyzes each spot, several criteria about the spot, to predict how it's going to do in the polls. And it's been very, very accurate the last couple of years. So it's, we're trying to get as much data and information out of Spot Bowl. I mean, at its core, it's a fun poll for America, of course. Yeah. But we're also trying to figure out, what can we learn from this, to become better advertisers?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we'll watch for the results in the end, but people can still vote all the way up until noon today, spotbowl.com, right?
That's right.
Dave, thanks so much for another year with Spot Bowl and the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day today.
You too.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.